Is Alex Jones returning to X, or also known as Twitter?
Completely out of his mind. He wanders around for the entire 2.5 years. It's getting worse. Naked in the White House. In the middle of the night.
You guys know Alex Jones has, let's just say, he's been in a lot of, how do I say this? He's been in a lot of very bad situations recently. There was the court ruling over the Sandy Hook ordeal where he's basically got to pay billions of dollars of which he does not have. Apparently, InfoWars is kind of in the gutter. It doesn't look like it's going to be able to sustain itself. And of course, when Elon Musk bought Twitter, one of the things that people were requesting was that Alex Jones be allowed back on the platform. Now, we're going to talk more about that a little bit later on in the video, especially when we get to the point to whether he should be back on or not. I'm pretty sure you guys already know where I lie at on that. And of course, I believe that he should be. Now, guys, I'm not an Alex Jones fanboy. I never really and truly have been. Of course, you've got the whole funny stuff that he's posted, like they're turning the frogs gay, which, of course, is a different article altogether. Of course, all the things that he has said, some of which, by the way, ended up coming true, but still at the same time, I've never been the InfoWars type. However, if you are, I'm not going to hit you or anything like that. I'm the type of person that is more of a conspiracy analyst than an actual theorist, meaning that I believe that every single one of these should be vetted. And of course, that's what Alex is known for, which I think is kind of unjust because at one point in time, I was listening to InfoWars and he was actually getting out a lot of information that was very useful. This is right around, I would say, between 2014 and 2016. Some people will say that everything he posted was useful. Everything he talked about was useful. And of course, he's also anti-globalist. And of course, he talks about the NWO. Now, guys, really quick, if I ever talk about the NWO, I will be talking about that more from a eschatological standpoint, meaning my personal knowledge on Bible prophecy. I'm not the best Christian in the world. I'll be the first person to admit it. But if there's one part of my Bible that I've done a lot of research on, is eschatology. However, I leave that to much more professional people like, say, Perry Stone, the great Dr. Chuck Missler when he was alive. You can always go check out his lectures, and other ministers. I'm not a minister, so therefore I don't bring that up on this platform. But still, at the same time, Alex Jones has been in a lot of investigations over the years, and he's kind of been seen as a bit of a dangerous figure to the establishment. Now, whether he should be allowed back on Twitter or not, I personally think he should be, and I think I have an idea of how that's going to go. But like I said, we will get to that a little bit later on in the video. Now, before I show you some of the stuff, of course, because he had an interview with Tucker Carlson last night, which I think is something you may want to pay attention to going in the future. As I've mentioned before, you could make him stronger, him being on X, him being on Twitter. I want to show you exactly the video that got Alex Jones removed from Twitter in the first place. Let's go ahead and roll this.
Look at this right here. The guy that goes around policing and calling for censorship and then claims that Trump's wrong, there's no censorship of conservatives or patriots. You are incredibly shameful, man.
How are you doing, Alex?
You're just look at you. Look, you are literally an anti-American, anti-free speech coward. You're going to go down the history books at the Criminal News Network. This is one of the main people right here who thinks you have no memory, who sits there and lobbies. Show him. That sits there and lobbies people to take other news off, claiming they're fake when CNN is the fakest WMD, Gulf Arab state dictatorship funded. Unbelievable. Hey, come on over here, Drew. I want to get this guy on tape. This is unbelievable. I was literally saying I don't see the Criminal News Network here, but indeed we do, right there at the front of the line of the trough, to try to get in there and try to shut down conservative and libertarian speech. And of course he comes from the loins of Glenn Beck, the king. I mean, look at those eyes, folks. If you want to see the eyes of a rat, no, I mean, seriously, just look at the camera. Look at those eyes. Look at that.
Oliver Darcy. He confronted Oliver Darcy, not at an event that, let's just say that he didn't confront him online, he confronted him in person. Now, guys, here's my thing. Only unless maybe somebody out there really and truly says something or does something that may burn me up or is an actual, true, honest-to-God, hurtful insult or taking something I said completely out of context, I more than likely am not going to be responding to other content creators because while it does generate views and revenue, This channel right here is more about the message. It's my main channel. Yes, I do like getting paid, but the other channels that I plan on creating are for much, much more fun topics. This is more of a general knowledge, and of course, obviously, we want the channel to succeed, but I don't expect to become a billionaire on this platform, but still at the same time, it was kind of bull. I'll put it this way here. I'm trying to keep it clean due to the community guideline standards. It was bull crap that he got suspended, he got removed over this here. Oliver Darcy, of course, he's just another worm, just another snake, just another one of those guys they put on CNN, one of those types that, and I got to say this more and more and more. The left hate it when you stand on principle, which of course is the main reason why I tell people to stand on principle, because if you do stand on principle, eventually you shall win. Never bow to the mob. The left hates it, and those of the left, they hate it when you fight back. These are the type of people who they want to bully you, but you are not allowed to fight back. Now, granted, you can disagree with Alex Jones over Sandy Hook and all that other type of stuff there, and I'll have a conversation with you. I didn't fully agree with everything because I remember how it was actually reported and the initial stuff that he put, which, by the way, you can't find on YouTube for whatever reason anymore, which is also something else, too. I'm completely against is scrubbing the internet of anything. I mean, God knows the first video I did, I had to literally research for 30 minutes to find the clip of Chris Rock saying you're turning Trump into Tupac. I had to literally scour the internet for that when it should have been readily available. Fact of the matter is that Alex Jones, what he was doing was he was getting other information out there. People, of course, call him a conspiracy theory. Of course, I've already explained that I'm more of a conspiracy analyst, and I will touch that topic at a later date. But still, people kind of viewed him as some type of like crazy kook as a result of this. Now, of course, a lot of things that he said, a lot of his rants, of course, were done for effect. People liked Alex Jones and they followed him primarily for that there, but he was spitting out some things that, quite frankly, were in fact useful. And a lot of things that he said would later on turn out to be true if you actually did some actual research on what he was talking about. But then you get the topic of Twitter and you get the topic of free speech. Now, our right to free speech is getting attacked all the time. And of course, you hear the libertarians who say stuff like, well, it's a private company, it can do whatever it wants. You hear liberals say the same thing. It's a private company, it can do whatever it wants. However, you have a right to pretty much say what you want to say. Now, I do believe in societal correction, meaning if you say something stupid, you get corrected or you get checked for it. However, I do not agree with outright canceling. I think people need to be able to say something, the other side accept it or reject it and have a discussion about it, and there be no grudge held. The fact of the matter is the left, they want their right to free speech, but they don't want you to have a right to free speech. Okay, I've said this on gun control on several occasions. Liberals, libs, even those who are afraid of guns, they want to have a right to be able to own a firearm, but they do not want you to have a right to own one. This is how these people operate. It is the fact that they want to be the ones in charge, but they don't want things on an even platform. When Elon Musk purchased Twitter, that's actually what happened, was that things began to get a little bit more even. We'll talk more about that here in a second, but we got to get into this Tucker Carlson interview that Alex Jones did, because once again, these are the type of things that, quite frankly, people don't want out in the open. And of course, it is now being forced into the open.
Completely out of his mind. He wanders around for the entire 2.5 years. It's getting worse. Naked in the White House. In the middle of the night, doesn't know who he is. They have to give him a bunch of drugs, a bunch of amphetamines in the morning. Then they've got to drug him at night. Sometimes he's got to, though, he'll like be out for the morning for a while, and then comes back out at night for a ball. That's when there's a real problem.
He is on drugs. I have established that, and I know someone who witnessed it. I'm not guessing at this. I know someone personally who witnessed him taking amphetamines. And this was during the 2020 election.
So how's this going to, that's huge. I know you don't.
Before I respond to this, I want you to know right now that the next little bit that I'm going to be playing is going to be playing back to back. So the clip's going to be a little bit longer. Here's the deal. Whether Biden walks around the White House butt naked or not, you guys can believe that if you want to. You cannot believe it if you don't want to. But given the fact of his mental state, his mental deterioration, this right here would not surprise me if this was not true. Him being on amphetamine and stuff like that, that would not surprise me if that was actually true. You've also got people out there saying body double, this, that, and the other. It would not surprise me if that turned out to be true. I'm not endorsing YouTube. I'm just simply saying that I would not be surprised. Look, I want to go ahead and say this before we go any further. Should there be, I want to ask the question, should there be an age limit on people who run for president? I would say that a person needs to be at least 36 or 37 years old before they're allowed to run. Should there be an age limit on those who serve? Me personally, I kind of lean towards the cognitive argument, meaning is their brain still intact? If you listen to Trump, for example, who's about to become 80 years old, I'll say he's 76 right now. He sounds, for the most part, like he's still got his brain intact. Biden, on the other hand, sounds like somebody who's talking like it's about to be the end. By the way, I know some people who are in their 50s and their 60s who sound like they're about to be at the very end. There are some people out there in their 70s, 80s, and even their 90s who proceed to have a brain that is still, for the most part, intact. Like they're still there. They're still sharp. It could be genetic. It could be the fact that maybe somebody kept themselves in shape their entire life. Someone like Trump, for example, was never a drinker or a smoker or anything. Even though he's apparently a fast food junkie, chances are he's probably found other ways to keep himself in shape. Even though he's obviously kind of big, he's kind of fat, and it's kind of funny when he calls someone like Chris Christie fat. People will kind of remind people, look, man, you're no spring chicken. You're not thin yourself. But still, it's a part of Trump's gag. It's a part of his comedy. That's kind of how he does things. It makes him more relatable in ways, and people, quite frankly, laugh. I just did a video on this earlier, how it is that Bill Burr completely smashed liberals when he called them idiots because they didn't know how to handle this guy. They just cry every time he speaks. Fact of the matter is this here. The cognitive issue is, in fact, an issue that is important, but I think it's really how somebody's brain is working and how sharp they are. Biden, on the other hand, does not appear to be sharp. But with that right there being said, let us go ahead and get to the deeper stuff.
Look at the trajectory of this, how they're escalating on Trump, whether you love him or hate him. He's now a populist icon. He's now the underdog. The globalists are coming after him. They're coming after our right to vote for who we want. He gets 60% against
which is the fundamental right in a democracy. The people rule. I can vote for whomever I want. And if you don't like that person, that's immaterial.
Absolutely.
Right?
And he's been indicted for saying they're stealing elections. They're stealing it.
Oh, I'm aware.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
In their indictments of him is
Absolutely.
election theft, but yes.
But despite that, he's got 60% against all other Republicans. He's 15, 20 points ahead of Biden. It's backfired, but the deep state's not going to stop. So when you said to Trump several times in that 400 million views or whatever you got, biggest show ever, you said to him, well, isn't the next thing them trying to kill you? And he's so confident, he doesn't want to think about that. And
he doesn't want to think about it.
Whereas I admire someone that's that confident, the deep state does kill people. And that's their only next move because this is failing. And I think they're going to kill Biden too, or I think they're going to try to, what you said in the speech again, before the last one I talked about like a month ago, you said, I don't see Biden and Trump being the candidates. You see the system, the media going after Biden, and he deserves it, but they were covering it up until now. Now they're covering the laptop. Now they're covering attack on the dog. Now they're covering, all of his senility. All the corruption, the Chinese spies.
Attacking a dog.
Before I respond to everything that he just said, these are the types of takes that, quite frankly, people are scared of. Will they try to put Trump down? Will they try to take him out? Will they replace Biden? And we'll talk about that here in a second, especially when we get to the whole point of whether Alex Jones, what's going to happen to him going forward. Elon Musk bought Twitter. Okay, and when Elon bought Twitter, and recently Elon has had issues with ads, Disney, other companies, Walmart pulling ads from the platform. He recently went to Israel. Of course, he was basically attacked for being anti-Semitic when he had a normal take. Now, me personally, somebody, and you guys have seen all my Israel-Hamas ordeal, Gaza Strip takes, and of course, you guys obviously know I'm more pro-Israel. However, if you have a rational, calm question to ask, like maybe if you're not as educated on the issue, or maybe you have a feeling where you're just asking questions about what's going on there. A lot of these people, by the way, who are asking these questions don't really know the nature of the conflict and know exactly what's been going on. I talked about this in the Candace Owens section, of course, where Candace Owens was had a little bit of a brouhaha with Ben Shapiro. Shapiro, obviously being Jewish, being extremely pro-Israel. Candace, on the other hand, probably coming from a position of not really knowing the full story. Of course, she's being a little bit more America first. She still has the right to ask the questions. It's when people are openly pro-Hamas or secretly pro-Hamas and try to mask it with being pro-Palestine, that's where I've got a bit of a problem. I don't think in any way, shape, or form what Candace was doing was anti-Semitic, and I don't think in any way, shape, or form what Elon Musk was doing for calling for a ceasefire was anti-Semitic. Well, my problem on the ceasefire front is when you've got people like Sneeko and Andrew Tate screaming, Allah Akbar, Allah demands justice, while Hamas is actually attacking Israel. And then 2 days later, when they find out the fight is not going the way they want it to go, then all of a sudden screaming for ceasefire. That's my issue there. It looks very, very disingenuous, and they look like a bad actor. Alex Jones, on the other hand, he's done several videos on this, and regardless of what his opinions are, it's something that, quite frankly, I do expect him to have because he's always been consistent with it. Now, the thing about would they try to take out Biden, would they try to take out Trump? Well, let me ask you guys a question. Don't you think it would be harder to be able to do this and make everything look believable if, say, they didn't have control of the online media? Look, I've been saying for a long time that if Elon Musk really and truly wanted to make an impact, don't just buy Twitter. Go ahead and put your hands on YouTube and all the other alternative platforms. Or if you have other people actually buy them and run them the way they need to be ran, then obviously more information would get out there. And the left would not have the leg up or the advantage that they have always had. The left has always had more advantages when it comes to the media. I have to hear people complain about Fox News. And of course, I don't watch Fox News that much anymore. If anything, I'll use them for reports every now and again because they don't put in frivolous copyright claims. The thing is this right here. Fox News is actually a little bit more fair and balanced, even though it does swing more to the right. They will actually cover stories on the left, but Fox has been corrupted, and more so corrupted recently. You can see this obviously much more establishment, so therefore people are going to try to find other forms of media that don't have a left-wing bias. By the way, Elon Musk has never been a conservative. He's always been more of a moderate left. He voted for Obama twice. He voted for Biden. He voted for Hillary. The fact of the matter is that Elon Musk purchased Twitter because he got tired of all the bull crap that was going on, especially with the left. It was really the Babylon Bee situation when they got suspended is the reason why it's probably the final straw. He was probably already considering buying Twitter at the time, but still at the same time, Twitter's not being ran by a bunch of left-wing loons, and the person that he brought in from the WEF has actually turned out to be relatively fair. Just figure I'd go ahead and say that. But still, though, I would not view Elon as a friend. Alex Jones has also said that he understands why he's not back on Twitter. He has even said, look, maybe I should not be back on Twitter. Maybe I understand why Elon has not done it yet. Maybe there's a reason for that. But still, now we're in a time frame where information is so free that it makes me think that anytime somebody says they're going to replace Biden, they're going to take out Trump, I automatically think to myself, just probably not going to happen due to the fact that now not conservatives, but much more moderate voices control the internet. You see, if moderate voices control the internet, chances are both sides of the discussion, both sides will be available, and therefore it automatically counteracts the media propaganda. It's one of the reasons why I'm expecting an extremely surprising result come 2024 in the election, because now that somebody who's a little bit more towards the center is controlling the online apparatus, it tells you that, yes, information is going to be a little bit more free-flowing and not as suppressed as much as the left wants to suppress the actual messaging. This is why InfoWars and Alex Jones existed in the first place. They existed so that way they could get information out that people were not seeing. That way they could get beyond the mainstream media and get beyond the propaganda. Now, with that right there being said, though, let me go ahead and end this video on this here. So, should Alex Jones be restored on Twitter? Well, I hope so. Like I said, I'm not a big Alex Jones fan, but I would like to see exactly what he's bringing up. Also, something else, too, about Alex Jones. He's recently been on Steven Crowder a lot. He's been online a lot more other platforms. We all know the InfoWars is going down. Of course, there's Owen Schroyer, who just now got released out of jail. He's now out. I should have covered that story. I'm not going to lie to you. I'll probably try to provide more info when we go into 2024 in video essay format. But still, the thing is this right here. You should not have your right to free speech suppressed. You just should not be. That's just the way. I mean, like I said, societal correction, yes. Somebody checks you for having a bad take, definitely. But still at the same time, if you want to make things fair, everybody needs to have their right to free speech actually practiced. You can't suppress one group and not suppress the other. As far as what happens to Alex going in the future, I would love to say that I feel that Alex Jones is going to be back on Twitter soon, and I think he may have a following a lot like what Tucker Carlson has. When Tucker Carlson got let go from Fox News, a lot of people were speculating, including myself, wondering what he was going to do next. And eventually what happened was he had a conversation with Elon, and he was practically allowed to do the Tucker Carlson show on Fox, this time on Twitter, or otherwise known as X. It's very possible that Alex Jones could be doing the exact same thing, and I, honest to God, hope that is the case. But let me go back to one more point that I was trying to make earlier. If you're plotting something, as if to say you're plotting to remove somebody or plotting to push someone to the side or whatnot, when you got more voices saying that it's going to happen, what probably happens is that the establishment sees this and they realize they can't get away with things the way they want to get away with things. So chances are that they more than likely will not be able to pull that off because more people would have saw it coming. I just figured I'd go ahead and throw that out there. With that there being said, guys, I'm going to try to get one more video out tonight. If they don't get it out tonight, it's going to be coming out tomorrow to go along with the one on Ramaswamy. Make sure you guys hit the like button, subscribe, share the video, sound off in the comment section, and I'll see you guys later.